Now, through the miracle of walking upstairs, we find that we have the first batch in the refrigerator for tomorrow if weather permits, and we can cold smoke. If not, we're done with it. Now, as you see, we have the other 2 batches of meat in the refrigerator where they have been safely refrigerated while we were able to take our time, not rush through anything, to do the first batch. Now we're getting ready to do the next batch, and I've dry mixed the spices. Again, the recipe is made available to you. Now I want to take a chance. See how red my hands are? Every time I pick up the camera, normally I got to wash my hands to get any product off, but then before I go back to work, I got to wash my hands because I've touched something foreign. So every time you go back to your work, you need to make sure you wash your hands with good antibacterial soap, else you might be taking something from your environment and putting it into your sausage. Now in this case, this material, you can still see a spot or two that's got where this dextrose based powdered smoke has got a few clumps, and you can break that up by hand if you want to, as long as, guess what, your hands are clean. Now we're going to do this just like we would normally do. We're going to sprinkle some in, and we're going to turn, and I hope my mixer doesn't move on me like it usually does when I do this shot. Okay, there's batch 2. Yet to clean up the mixer. Yet to take the stuffer and put him away into the refrigerator. While we do that, we'll take these guys up into the cooler upstairs, and you see we're just going to have just enough to finish with the casings we have. The piston is clean, the mixer is clean, the bowl is clean and empty, the scale is ready to go. We have the remaining amount of meat. We're getting ready to do the tail end of this batch. There's the spice mix. We have just right at 7 pounds, just about an ounce, less than an ounce and a half less than that. And we're going to mix this up. Next thing you'll see should be the finished end product. Well, that's what we had left. And that is the tail end of the 6 butts. Now they were kind of small. If it's not too cold, too wet, maybe we might be able to cold smoke these things. Now I don't cold smoke a lot because I don't really have a commercial refrigerator walk-in cooler set up where I can maintain the necessary temperatures in order to do this at a proper rating. Now I will read you something here I think is very important, and I'll put it up here on the screen for you. Now this comes from the Food Safety Inspection Services Appendix A. This is the compliance guidelines for meeting lethality performance standards for certain meat and poultry products. Dwell times of greater than 6 hours in the 50 degree to 130 degree range should be viewed as especially hazardous, as this temperature range can foster substantial growth of many pathogens of concern, and the knowledge of the specific product and factors that would favor or inhibit the growth of various bacteria is essential. Now, I quote 40 to 140 because most health regulations that I'm familiar with quote this broader range. Here in Appendix A, they're specifying in particular 50 to 130. 40 to 140 is a larger range and is generally characterized as the danger zone. So as long as you stay below 40 and above 140, you're actually given a more safe, more wider range to keep the bacterial growth out. Now with pork, you have more than just bacteria to be concerned with. You have the trichinella worm, which causes trichinosis. Now there are a few game animals that may also carry this parasite. It's a pretty bad little guy. Smoke is already generating. We're loaded up and ready to go. So this is where I go back in the house and drink some warm coffee.
Institute neuroscientists and students are hosting their 12th annual Brain Blast. Students and parents are encouraged to come out Yeah, let's take a look at our forecast for today. It's going to be a warm day, really warm, as in the warmest day.
Now we've gotten good 2 hours out of this, so we're going to take the meat off. Now that you've made such a large batch of sausage, what do you do with it all? Well, if you have a vacuum type of sealer machine, residential unit like that, you can also buy generic roll media such as this. You can then pull out an appropriate long length of roll media, seal you a line, take your inkjet printer, print yourself your ingredient and title label with the date of manufacture. Put it in here with the shiny side up so you can see through without distortion. Seal her down again, making a nice dry area for your inkjet label to be. Put your sausage in there and draw in a nice vacuum, and you've got a nice freezer ready package. Now the product in this video is a pork based product. Now whether you use farm raised pork or you have a harvested animal such as a wild boar, if your state has such animals, one of the things that you'll want to take care of is you'll want to make darn sure that you cook it to proper temperatures. And there are tables that will help you do this. I'm going to put up a table from the law. This is the United States law dealing with control of trichinella, or trichinosis is the disease that the trichinella worm causes. That is a worm that pigs can carry and can get into you, and if they do, there can be some pretty nasty things. So the law I'm going to refer to is 9 CFR 318.10, and that's specific dealing with trichinella control. And I'm going to put up a table right now, and I want you to notice at the different temperatures the dwell time that meat must be exposed to in order to properly kill off that particular little critter.